If you're watching this, you know, and I know, that you are a visionary. Yes, YaziMedia connects visionaries to the audiences and the clients that are looking for them by helping them to find the media outlets and the content creators who serve the audiences that they are looking for. Let's find out how that works. In our session today, you will be finding out exactly how we make this work. Here's what we're looking at. Our outcomes today is that you will understand more about your reputation and how to build it as the expert that you are in your field, but in the places where the people who are looking for you can find you. The media outlets, online or off, the newspapers, magazines, the blogs, the podcasts, the vlogs, where people are gathering around the topic that you share your expertise on. You'll also find out a little bit more about your ideal clients and how to reach them. And then we'll be doing a little bit of media DIY. If you want to get started on finding the right places to appear in the media for yourself. We also have a sneak peek at media trends of the moment, media trends for 2023 that have been developing over time and that are at a peak at the moment. And then you'll find out how to take it all to the next level. Are you ready for your visionary media strategy? Let's dive in. It's always good to listen to a wise person, and this particular one is Socrates. Now, Socrates said this about reputation. The way to gain good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. The fact is that although you know that you are a visionary, because you've shown up to this session, which is for visionaries like you, it can sometimes be hard to have faith in ourselves. You've heard so much about imposter syndrome, and from time to time, I'm sure you hear that little voice in your head that says, who am I to be out there pretending to be an expert? But the fact is, look at the many ways in which you are. I hope I don't need to convince you, but when it comes to putting the word out about your visionary work, it's so important that your audiences can trust you as an expert. And to do that, you need to be the first one to trust your own expertise. And Socrates' advice is the best way to get there. There used to be advice for writers that said, a writer writes. So if you're a writer, write every day. If you are a speaker, get out there and speak. If you have any mission that you are on for the visionary work that you are doing, the best way to build your good reputation about that, as Socrates said, is to go out and do it. So if you've had any doubts on whether you have a valid point to share or whether you really are who you say you are, the very simple answer is go out there and do it. That is what visionaries do. Now, one of the reasons why it's so important to reach the right people is because, well, you have something really amazing and visionary of value to offer. The fact is that there are people who are looking for it, and there are people who are not. If you went off to Antarctica and you wanted to start an ice cream shop, you might not find all that many buyers because that's just not the time and place where people are interested in ice cream. But go try it in the Sahara, you might have far better luck. The fact is, what you offer is probably a little bit more complicated than ice cream, which is usually desirable for most people in many situations, but probably especially when it's hot and dry, and there are many more reasons to need it. But if you're an expert, a speaker, an author, a coach, somebody who offers a service, chances are that what you offer is a little bit more complex, and the people who are looking for you are a slightly smaller segment of society. The fact is, not everybody is looking for you all the time. So how do you find the people who, like those who are lost in the Sahara and would love something like an ice cream to cool them down? How do you reach those people who are looking for you right now? And the great news is there are ways that they are already being reached. They are looking for your information in places where they tend to get information of that kind. So if they have a special interest, they probably are following the specialist media, the newspapers, the magazines, the publications, the journals. And then maybe also the online media, the blogs, the vlogs, the podcasts, and other social media channels that actually focus on their needs, whether it's a specific problem they need to solve or an industry that they are in. Because for many of you, the people who are looking for you actually are businesses, or they are consumers or clients who have a very, very specific problem that you can solve, right? So let's go find how you take your ice cream shop to the Sahara. What's so important is that to do business with you, ultimately, your ideal clients need to trust you. It's a whole lot riskier than jumping out of a plane with someone, and you wouldn't do that with someone you didn't trust, would you? Well, when your ideal clients are looking for the right person to take them forward, they want to know they can trust you before they take that leap of faith. And how do they know this? Well, one of the best ways is when they can see that somebody somewhere that they trust already trusts you. And this is where a media platform can come in so powerfully, because when your clients or your future clients, your ideal clients, are looking for information, they look at places they can trust. They already probably follow some of these creators, whether it's online or whether it's publications or broadcasts that they follow for their industry. And they have respect for the opinions that are shared by the media. And this is when it's really, really good that you take advantage of that information that they need, that the question that they have, the problem they want to solve, and you can show them your expertise on a platform they trust. Consider the value of being featured in a publication or a broadcast, or even an online podcast, a vlog, or a blog that covers the kind of information that your ideal clients are looking for. So here's one example of what I do for my clients. At YaziMedia, we are constantly watching what journalists, reporters, bloggers, vloggers, and podcasters are looking for, what they're asking for to serve their audiences. Because remember, just like you have a problem, well, a challenge, a situation where you would like to get the word out about what you do, what is the problem of a journalist, of a media outlet, of a blogger or a vlogger or a podcaster? They need quality information to give to their audience. And even if they're a great journalist or a great reporter, they might not have the expertise to answer all the questions of their audiences. And that's when they look for people like you, experts, visionaries, who have an important message to share. You see how when you appear in the media, you can be solving a problem for the reporter or journalist, the creator who wants to serve their audience, and for their audience. But you are also positioning yourself as an expert and opening up to potential clients and new audiences. So here's an example. While I have been scanning the different requests from different journalists and reporters for my clients, I often find that they are looking for information that one of my clients can provide. Recently, I saw that a journalist in the business leadership field, business and technology leadership field, actually, was looking for an expert opinion on change management in organizations. And they wanted a leadership expert to speak out on this. Now, their audience is a selection of technology and business leaders, and they would give the most respect to somebody who has experience in that field, right? So a client of mine is a leadership expert, in fact, a conscious leadership expert, but he also has a background as a leader at one of the biggest information technology firms in the world, where he was in charge of a national department. And this would give him a lot of credibility, right? So I communicated with the journalist and I said, this is what my client can share. My client gave a very short voice note to me with all the information that he could provide. And we then condensed this into a couple of bullet points and a bit of information, a short bio of the client, which I could send to the journalist within an hour or so from her request going out. And guess what? She was over the moon. She got back to me the same day, and we later exchanged photographs and other information about the leadership expert who is my client. And it wasn't too long before, inside her publication, specially aimed at the exact target audience my client wants to serve, he appeared on the very middle page of the publication with his photograph, reference to his company, and the bullet points that we put together for this journalist's article. So that is the kind of exposure that is ideal for you when you want to be positioned in front of the right people. Wouldn't that be a great way to make things happen? Now, what was very interesting about placing this article was that it also then generated new followers for him on his social media following, and suddenly a couple of appointments with important decision makers that had not quite come through yet started to take shape. All of this happens because of the knock-on effect of the credibility of appearing in front of your desired audience and potentially your ideal clients. Wouldn't that be the best way to position yourself? You see, when you advertise, people know that you are advertising, you are paying to be seen. But when you get publicity, you appear in the media or in other places that already add to your esteem as an expert. And that has a whole lot more credibility. Not only that, but when you choose the right media where you will appear, you actually also already get the right audience who are already looking for you. So that is a huge credibility builder. And you remember the clients who need to take that leap of faith as they jump out of the plane to do business with you? Well, those clients really appreciate that. People are savvy nowadays. And yes, advertising can get results, especially for products. But when it comes to a service and a vision that you want to share with people, well, publicity is the most powerful platform. Something to mention here, if you have ever looked into search engine optimization or SEO, which allows you to get more attention in the search engines like Google and other search engines that drive people to your online presence so that they can find you and get to know you and trust you and do business with you, well, then you will know that every single link that leads back to you and your website and your other online platforms actually helps to increase your visibility and your credibility online. And by the way, even the quality of the source is considered when search engine algorithms see whether they will drive people to you. So to translate the geek speak, that means when somebody Googles you, you want to be the first name that comes up. But not only by your name, you want your field of expertise to be the one that comes up in the search results. So if you are an author on productivity, you would like to know that when people look for a productivity expert author, your name is the first one that comes up on Google. Well, that's a big aspiration, but the fact is, the more publicity you have and the more links lead to you, the more people are talking about you, and the more credible those sources are, the higher you will go up in the search rankings. So that's a very, very big advantage to keep in mind. So how can you make it happen? Well, there are ways to DIY your visionary media strategy, and it's only fair that you find out what a few of these are. The bottom line is this: where are your ideal clients looking for you? If they already have a problem and they know what the problem is, and it's a problem that you can maybe solve, they're probably looking at the media outlets that can help them to solve that problem. It might be prominent newspapers and magazines, but nowadays, increasingly, it could be a blog, a vlog, or a podcast that features the kind of information that they are looking for. What if they could find you there? Because here's the thing: the people who are creating that, the media outlets, the journalists, reporters, bloggers, vloggers, and podcasters, are looking for you. But how do you get there? Well, here's the thing: they are looking for you, and there are a couple of places where you can find out what they are looking for. At the end of this session, I will be linking you to a resource where you have a media strategy for visionaries toolkit. And there you'll find all the links that you need, or a couple of the very good, best ones to start with, to connect with these people. But here they are in a nutshell: the best known international source of media requests from very large organizations right down to small online operations is called Help a Reporter. You'll find it at helpareporter.com. And again, that link will be in your toolkit that you'll find later in this presentation. It's also known as HARO, for Help a Reporter Out. And you can also find that hashtag HARO or HARO on Twitter if you are looking for any journalist or reporter who might want to interview an expert like you. Now, every day, Help a Reporter sends out 3 jam-packed emails full of opportunities to appear in the media. You might want to look through them carefully, perhaps look at setting up email filters that will help you to find the best ones with keywords that will keep out or that will only let in the messages that you are looking for, because it's a long email and there are 3 of them a day. And it's not even easy to read. It really looks like it looks like a telephone book, basically. Not much fun to work with, but there are gold nuggets in there. Using Help a Reporter, I've helped clients to, even a brand new client who was moving into the health coaching space, to get a publication in 2 major online, or an article in 2 major online publications. One of them was Authority magazine, and there was a partner publication in the Thrive Global online platform, which is the offshoot of the Huffington Post that was created by Arianna Huffington. When she sold the Huffington Post, she created Thrive Global, and appearing in a publication like this for a health coach is exactly the kind of exposure they need, especially when they're just starting out. So see how powerful that can be. So that is helpareporter.com or HARO, HARO. Another international source that has a stronger focus on Australia and New Zealand, but also has international users, is SourceBottle. Now, where Help a Reporter is lots of information. The source bottle platform actually is much more selective and it's much more attractive. It's a beautiful, colorful email that you receive about 3 times a day in your inbox as well. But this one is a lot friendlier in many ways, very visual. They also share a lot of great resources. You'll find them at sourcebottle.com. And then if you are based in a country outside of the United States, the UK, Australia, or New Zealand, you might also find that there are similar services in your country. I'm in South Africa, and the service that we use is mediaalerts.co.za. And at Media Alerts, you get 1 email a day. You can set your watch by it every weekday at 10:30 a.m. South African time. This email goes out with all the latest opportunities for experts to appear in the media. So that's a good one to follow. It's usually quite short, usually 5 to 10 requests a day. And you have opportunities there to appear not only in blogs and podcasts, but also in the traditional media and even the national broadcaster. So there are great opportunities there. That is mediaalerts.co.za if you are in South Africa. Then for podcasts, there are also a number of services, and the best would be to go and look for podcast guesting emails where you can find the opportunity to follow these people, and they'll also give you some really good tips on how to become a podcast guest. But the real truth of the matter is that these are broad nets to catch a lot of possible media opportunities. If you really want to be featured in the media very often, you might find it even more useful to connect in person with the kinds of journalists, reporters, bloggers, podcasters, vloggers who are reporting in your field. So a great way to do this, and if you know me at all, you know I'm a serious LinkedIn advocate. Go to LinkedIn and find the people who run, whether it is media publications, the journalists, the reporters, and especially the bloggers, vloggers, and podcasters who address the audience that you want to speak to. So in other words, your ideal clients listen to their show, read their publication, or watch their, their offerings. So go and connect with them. And of course, nobody wants to have you knocking at their door saying, hey, I'm an expert, like feature me. But if you can first connect with them and thank them for the publication that they're doing, start to support their posts, really pay attention to what they are publishing, whether it's a traditional magazine, newspaper, broadcast, or otherwise a blog, a podcast, a vlog. Go and support them and offer valuable comments there so that they can see you are a valuable source. And they just might approach you in time. You can also then, once you have established a bit of a relationship, reach out to say, I really enjoyed this episode, or I really enjoyed this article. By the way, I have a couple of thoughts on this. Would you like to chat about it? Set up a Zoom, or maybe you can even meet them in person and get to know them. When they know you are a valuable source who can enrich their audience, of course, they will want to feature you. But it is important, as always, to consider their feelings, consider their agenda, and really help them to understand that you can help them. So good luck with networking and following the media opportunities. It can be a goldmine of possibilities. You'll find more about this in your Media Strategy for Visionaries toolkit, and you can find that at the link that you'll find if you scan this QR code, or if you sit tight at the end of this session, I'll share that link with you. Now, there are always trends in the media, and these grow over time, but some of them that you might want to think about in 2023 are these. If you are working in an area that addresses any of these trends, or you want to support a media publication that could feature you as an expert, keep these in mind. The first one is personalization, but around communities and tribes. So more and more, you'll notice that the different media platforms, especially those that are only online, really like to work with their ideal target audience. So they really focus on the exact niche needs of certain people. When you can do that, you know you're reaching the exact right people. So this is great. But not only do we want to think about them as individuals, we also want to think about that community and tribe. We've all experienced the events of the past years that left us physically isolated from each other. And as working from home becomes more prominent, we're all seeking more of a connection. When you can tap that need that people have for personalization, but also for belonging as part of a community or a true tribe, then that is one of the best things to leverage at the moment. The fact is, the people you want to reach as a visionary are your true tribe. So really identifying what makes them belong to your ideal audience is one of the great ways to reach them. The next is sustainability, inclusion, and diversity. So we're really looking at things like taking care of people, acknowledging them for who they are, giving everyone a chance, and also being more aware of the deeper needs that people have, their well-being, their health, their inclusion of life, the balance that they can enjoy. This is definitely a hot trend at the moment, and we see no end in sight. The third one, where you see the megaphone, is all about something that has been called the passion economy. And chances are that as a visionary, you're already part of the passion economy. If you are doing anything that is related to what you believe in deep in your heart, especially if you're making a living from it already, and I hope that you soon will if you're not, well, that is a big driving force in the world at the moment. Think about the people you follow online, the people that you admire, the people who inspire you at the moment. They're probably someone who does something that is passion-driven, whether it is a cause that they support, a vision that they are working on, or just a lifestyle choice that they've made, whether it is selling everything and moving into a van to travel the world, or perhaps, well, something like deciding to knit costumes for cats. Amazing things are happening online nowadays. So the fact is that if you can tap that passion economy, you are part of the revolution. Alongside this, we see the creator economy, and we're very aware nowadays of independent creators online and on social media. And nowadays, many of them are even being featured in the traditional media because it's such an overwhelming trend. You can be one of those creators. And as a visionary, you might want to think about having a blog or a podcast or a video channel. But the fact is, when you appear as an expert on someone else's media platform, you gain a great deal in extended credibility and you get to tap their audience. So it's a really powerful way to start without having to start your own platforms. The next is the rise of video, especially short form video. You're watching this as a video, and I'm sure if I shared it with you as an ebook, chances are you might actually never read it. But watching a video is not that big a commitment, and it's something that we can all do. It's wildly popular at the moment, and it's so efficient. If you can tap the video trend, you're in a great position. And by the way, one of the great ways to get featured is to be on someone's vlog. So you can also watch the people, for example, on YouTube or Vimeo, who are or TikTok, of course, who are sharing information about your expertise. If you're interviewed or featured in their shows, you also gain their audience's following and credibility. And the last one I'm pretty excited about, and that is not just online shopping, but the fact that selling your services or your products online is becoming more and more open and achievable for anybody. If you're not yet available, open for business online. Now is the time. There are so many opportunities, whether it is as a freelancer, as a trader, or simply someone who sells some of your digital products, something like an ebook or a video of your own, an online course that you've created. There are so many opportunities now to do what you wish and make it available for sale internationally online 24/7. If you have not yet experienced the thrill of waking up to a message in your inbox that you've just earned money while you were sleeping, it is a joy that I wish you very, very soon. The possibilities are there, they're open, and they're available to you. And of course, when you're being promoted online, when you have publicity in so many other places, there are even more opportunities open, more streams and channels of income open to you. If you're not sure how to do this, get in touch with me at YaziMedia. We're very, very excited about helping people to make that happen. And of course, there's your media strategy for visionaries toolkit again. And again, the link is coming up soon. Well, another way to establish your expertise is when you are acknowledged as one of the experts who is leading and guiding trends. Now, at the end of 2022, YaziMedia is releasing a 2023 Trends Report, where we collect the input and the insights of experts from various fields to compile where things are going in the coming year. We'll be publishing the 2023 Trends Report online, and we'll also be distributing it to media creators, media outlets around the world. So anyone who's featured there has the opportunity to not only appear as an expert within that area, but also to have exposure to international audiences who may choose to include your expert insights in their publications. Once again, at the link you'll receive in a minute in the Media Strategy for Visionaries Toolkit, you'll have a link where you can actually go and submit your trend. And as you've heard, podcasts are another powerful way to position yourself. YaziMedia will also be launching a League of Visionaries podcast in 2023. And the YaziMedia League of Visionaries podcast will be featuring experts and visionaries like you, where we have short interviews where you explain what you do and your visionary input for where you are going, what you are doing, what your message is, and what work you are doing. This gives you an additional source of an audience and exposure and positioning as an expert in your field. And once again, you guessed it, the link to apply to be in the League of Visionaries podcast in 2023 is included at the end of this session, so sit tight. But then ultimately, it's really about your visionary media strategy. And when you have a powerful media strategy that really reaches the ideal audience that can become your ideal clients, you are positioned as an expert in a far wider field, tapping the audiences and the credibility of all the media platforms where you are featured. I'm sure you can see how powerful this is in helping people to hear your message in the first place, but also for you to have that credibility. And even if you just look at the benefits it has for your search engine optimization or SEO, this really helps you to attract more people and more attention so that you can appear in people's search rankings. In other words, when people Google your expertise, they can find you. You're the visionary they're looking for after all. So that Media Strategy for Visionaries Toolkit, once again, is the place. And if you haven't scanned the QR code yet, it's on its way. If you have any questions, I'd love to help. So please find me on LinkedIn. My name is Marie-Therese Leroux, and I am the Media Strategist with Soul. You can also find YaziMedia, and you'll find all the information linked in the Media Strategy for Visionaries Toolkit. Where? There it is. You can scan the QR code or look at bit.ly/MSV Toolkit, Media Strategy for Visionaries Toolkit, and check that your M, S, V, and T are capitals and the others are lowercase. That's bit.ly/MSV Toolkit. In that toolkit, you're going to find a summary of everything we've discussed here, the links to different places where you can get media alerts where people might be looking for you, and all the tips we've shared here, including your 2023 media trends and the opportunity to appear in the 2023 Trends report from YaziMedia, as well as the YaziMedia League of Visionaries podcast. And there's also a link where you can book your media strategy for visionaries strategy session with me or a member of my team. So go and get your toolkit and find all the information you need to build your visionary media strategy. You have a message that people are looking for. And your visionary media strategy is the way to help them find you. I'm Marie-Therese Leroux, the media strategist with soul, and I can't wait to learn how your vision can go to the world. Let's stay connected.